Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful to be with you. I am excited. Let's do this. I'm ecstatic. I'm energized. I'm just going to continue from last week because I started getting into a new topic that I wasn't even planning on doing, yet here we are. We're going to do it because it's important, and how excited I am for the opportunity to talk about it. I have spoken about it a little bit, not to the degree that we are today. Last week, I talked about monkey see, monkey do. I talked about having impact and influence on those people around you because they rely on you. Plain and simple. They rely upon you. Get that around your brain. Think about that. How much they are looking to you for guidance. You are the lighthouse in their life. Amongst the storm that this world is, you are the firm foundation. You are the thing that is not moving. Such a cool concept to understand. So I I flat out said, I had just finished 75 hard. I have been in a 75 hard phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 12 times. 11 previous completions of a phase. I've done Live Hard twice. For those that don't know, it is a mental challenge. It is a mindset challenge. It is misunderstood to be a fitness challenge. It is not a fitness challenge. It is a mindset challenge. But it includes fitness. It includes drinking 1 gallon of water a day, no less. 128 ounces or more. 10 pages of a nonfiction book read every day or more. A photo of yourself every single day. A indoor workout that is 45 minutes, an outdoor workout that is 45 minutes, and it must be outside. Am I missing anything else? I think that's it. Oh, no cheat meals, no alcohol, and follow a fitness or a meal plan of your choosing to a T. Don't screw it up. So I did that. And I've done that. Like I said, I've been in one of those phases 11 previous times completed. And when I'm in these phases, it is arguably harder for Michaela than it is myself. It is pretty routine. It is very structured. I do well with structure. So I do fairly well in these programs. And I've always had some physical change. I drop some lbs. I drop some body fat. I look better at the end than I did at the beginning. Sometimes the change is a little bit more dramatic, but nothing crazy because I've maintained myself pretty regularly. However, before this time around, we went through the throes of pregnancy and a newborn, and I kind of just said to hell with my diet. I didn't track anything. I just ate fairly clean, keyword on fairly, and I lifted really heavy at the gym. Well, because of that, I got pretty big, pretty thick, and I was lifting the highest PRs I've ever lifted in my life. It was actually pretty sweet. But I look in the mirror and I wasn't super thrilled about the amount of fluff that I had. And some people would look at me and say, you don't have any fluff to lose. I'm comparing me against me, not me against you. And at the end of December, I was on a call with one of my mentors. A bunch of us were on the call, and we're a little bit more of the leadership-esque type. And he said, by a show of hands, how many people are going to start 75 hard on January 1st? I did not, because I was not going to do it. And then he's going through the call, and then he stops. He says, you know what? Scratch that. We're leadership. We're going to lead from the front. We're all doing 75 hard. So if you didn't raise your hand, you raised your hand now. We're all doing it. So I said, okay, here we go. We're going to do this. So I told my wife. She was not thrilled, to say the least. And she asked me one question. She says, how is this time going to be different? And she left it at that. I knew what that meant. I had to make this the largest transition, the largest impact it had ever done. I've done it 11 times. How is this time going to be different? What am I going to do different? So I went to good old AI. I went to Grok, and I started having conversation with Grok on getting different meal plans. This is what I've always done. These are the photos of how I looked before versus after. These are the structures. You tell me in scientific studies what has been the best ratio of macros to start with baseline, and then curate from there. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. I weighed 230 pounds. I was probably 15 or 16% body fat, somewhere in that world. Guessing. Never actually checked it. And so I created a program, and I decided, instead of going for an outdoor 45-minute walk, which I do about 2.25 to 2.5 miles, I was going to do a 45-pound, 45-minute ruck. So I ordered a rucksack, and an official Go rucksack, which it's really nice. Oh my gosh. It changes everything when you have an actual ruck bag. And I scaled it from 20 pounds for the first couple of days and scaled to 45. And I rucked for 75 days straight. I tracked everything else as normal. I read my pages. I got my water. I hit my macros within a 1% variance the entire time. And I adjusted my macros. I did refeed days according to how we thought would be best for my body, for my metabolism. And we just nailed it. Oh my gosh, nailed it. And I had a goal of going from 230 pounds to 210 pounds. And a goal from being about 15, 16% body fat to being in the 10% body fat bracket within 75 days. That was the scale at which I wanted to execute. That was the goal. I hit that goal within 20, I was 215 pounds and 10% body fat. So I lost 15 pounds in the first 18 to 20 days. A lot of that being water and inflammation. And then the work really started going. By day 43, I was down 26 pounds. I was down to 100 and not 26 pounds. I was down 23 pounds. So I was down to 107 pounds. I was sub, is that 107? 207. Excuse me, I'm definitely not 107. I was sub 210. I was below my target weight. I was sub 10%. I was probably more like 8.5 or 9% body fat. At day 43, out of 75, I had still another 32 days remaining. And we drilled it further and further and further and further. And I ended up leveling off, and I'm now sitting, I fluctuate, but I'm right around 201 pounds. I sit right around 7% body fat. All of that came because I dialed in macros even more than I did before. Before I just guessed based off of bro science. Now I went off of actual science. What do the studies say? Not just what people say on the internet, but what do the research studies say? Where should I be at? How should I adjust? How should I scale? Now my metabolism screams. I got on supplements. I started taking cinnamon and turmeric for inflammation and joint health. I started taking a thing called nitrosogene, which is arginine with inositol for metabolism and for joint health and for inflammation. I started taking yohimbine. That sucker lights your metabolism through the roof, and it makes all that stubborn fat light on fire. Be careful with it, though. It's really potent. None of this, by the way, is health advice. Do your own research. And I got on some peptides, BPC 157, TB 500, things to help my joints. Again, this is not health advice. Because my joints were achy, because I weighed 230 pounds, the highest I'd ever weighed in my life. And as I started really drilling this stuff down, my body adjusted, my body adapted. And I laughed and just thought one day, if you eat like an elite athlete, you'll tend to look like an elite athlete. Go figure, that is the case. I've never actually looked the way that I do now in my entire life. I can say in my entire 37 years, my birthday's tomorrow. So my entire 37 years of life, I've never looked like this. I was looking at my quads this morning with my wife, and I have veins all down through my quads. I have veins down through my chest and through my abs and down my back and down my lats. And I've never had that before. I've always just said, oh, I have really deep veins, so I don't get vascular. That's not true. I was just too fluffy. I do have deep veins, but I was too fluffy. And now I'm starting to get to this leanness. And I had a pump this morning where I was caught off guard at the gym this morning. And I looked at myself, I said, oh man, that's me. That's cool. That's pretty wild. But this comes back to what last episode I talked about. What does your word say? My wife asked me, how is this time going to be different? And I told her, this is the plan. I will execute that plan and I will win. Little did I know I was going to hit that goal very, very fast, and I would need to adjust that goal. And about day 45, my business partner through our corporate, brought on one of the best trainers I've ever met. The dude's level of knowledge is insane. And I've learned in almost every muscle group, in almost every movement, I've done it wrong for the entire 23 years that I've been exercising. Go figure. And he is curating, and he is meticulous. Move your hands to this angle, pronate a little this way, supinate a little bit that way. Move your feet 1/8 of an inch this way. He is that meticulous with me. Move your hips, rotate them this way versus that way. I want you to move your hand in this direction, in this fashion when you're going through the exercise. He is so specific because I have such a specific goal. How specific are your goals? Where are you writing down the plan and then executing the plan? Are you tracking it along the way? I have to take my weight every day. Right now, my allergies are kicking my butt. So I'm not currently doing my breath work because I can barely breathe as it is. So I'm not doing breath work, retention holds, which is what we're working on. And I have to track my steps every day. So I reactivated my Oura Ring, which hasn't been on for 18 months. I turned it off because I couldn't afford the $6 a month. Truth be told, if you want to know the honest, true, transparent truth, I turned it off because I couldn't afford the $6 a month 18 months ago. That's where we were financially. I couldn't afford a $6 subscription for my Oura Ring to tell me about my metrics. That's why I turned it off. But I turned that back on to track for him and getting all of the data to tweak my body. But what it really did is it tweaked my mind to exactness, to definite major purpose, and having a positive mental attitude about it too. And really drilling in what I want. And then I told people, this is what I'm doing. We teach the class at the prison. I said, I'm starting 75 hard. And they said, okay, cool. What do you want to do? And I told them the plan. I said, watch me. And Michaela looked at them, and some of them laughed when I said, I'm going to lose, the goal was 20 pounds. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 75 days. And several of them literally laughed. And Michaela turned and said, no, he'll do it. Just watch. He'll do it. And they watched in real time as my face got leaner, as my body got leaner, as my pants and my clothes got looser. All of my clothes are totally loose on me now. They don't quite fit the way they used to or the way they were intended when I bought them. And that's awesome. But does your reputation lead you into a room? When you walk in, do people know? They do what they say they'll do. They will execute with perfection to a T. They will nail it. Is that you? And if it's not, what needs to change so it can be? What needs to happen in your life so that is you? Because at the end of the day, where you focus, you find. Where you place your energy and attention, you will ultimately be. It's entirely on you. So, without further ado, that's what I got for you. Find me on socials, Mr. Brad Draper. Share this episode with anybody you feel that can benefit from it, that can learn from it. I talked about drifting into who you want to be not years ago, but probably 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. Maybe you should start drifting into who you want to be versus trying to make this huge leap. Remember, I didn't just track my macros. I ate the literal same exact foods, the same 7 foods at the same time every day for 43 days straight. It wasn't until 43 days that I started incorporating a little bit of variety. That's how specific I got. That's what caused me to lose so much fat so quickly and retain all of my muscle. How cool is that? But let's have a conversation. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.